Let's spring forward now to the growing season. Just a few miles outside the city limits in Lincoln, there is a research facility that has a rich history. For more than 75 years, Rogers Memorial Farm has been instrumental in the University of Nebraska Lincoln's hands-on agricultural research. This no-till research farm grows corn, soybeans, sorghum, as well as wheat. We're able to get an inside look at how this farm is helping to propel agricultural research at the University of Nebraska Lincoln.
Just a few miles east of Lincoln, Nebraska, stands a farm with an inconspicuous old white barn on about 320 acres of land with a diverse crop selection. This farm is staffed with only one full-time position. Stuart Hoff serves as the research farm manager here. While this site is a testament to the benefits of no-till farming, Stuart tells us it's evolved a great deal since his initial experience on the property, thanks in part to much of the work of his colleague, Paul Yassa.
Originally, I was a student in mid-1980s under Mark Schroeder, the farm manager at that time. At that time, the farm was mostly a tillage farm. Did mostly corn, some corn, soybeans was the majority, and wheat was the majority of the crops at the farm at that time. Then in the 1990s, early 1990s, I became full-time for the department at that time, and Mark Schroeder moved the farm into a full no-till after seeing what was done with plots that Albert Dickey and Paul Yassa were doing, and he also incorporated that into the other ground that the department had at the ENEREC facility up at Meade.
Paul Yassa, who was recently recognized for his contributions to no-till farming, has spent several years at Rogers Memorial Farm. He tells us while his work here has enhanced his extension education programs for farmers around the state, the farm has also been utilized by groups such as NRCS and the Ag Research Service.
Well, at the Rogers Memorial Farm, I've been working there for a large number of years, and it's a sort of a trial proving ground for me, and it actually adds a lot to my extension programs, because when I go out and talk to producers, then I've actually been doing it in the field myself, and that's one of the beauties of the farm. It's allowed me to try a lot of things to take out to producers. Well, when it comes to Rogers Memorial Farm being a host to other groups coming out, ARS, the Ag Research Service, had a set of plots out there that they ran for 40 years, comparing different tillage systems for corn and soybean production. And it's the kind of thing where they were taking some in-depth measurements in the field, in the soil itself, the kind of thing that an extension engineer doesn't do. And so again, it added a lot to the database on tillage systems. Now, NRCS, we're twofold there. One is they've used us as a training site. We've conducted the national training for all the NRCS new employees, 2016 until COVID shut us down in 2020. But every new employee came in for a 3-week class in Lincoln and spent about 5 days or parts of 5 days out at the farm where they could actually see the practices we are using to actually see how soils improve.
Since its inception, Rogers Memorial Farm has evolved into a self-sustaining triumph of no-till farming practices. Planting and harvesting on the property are generally overseen by Stuart and Paul. The profits from commodity sales generated by the crops raised by Paul and Stuart are the main source of revenue that keep this operation running.
We raise soybeans, corn, sorghum, and wheat, winter wheat on the farm. We don't have a lot of storage. We can store about 12,000 bushels on the farm. So I'm contracting some soybeans off the farm before we harvest. And so I got room to put all the remaining soybeans in the bin for later sales. I maneuver things around, so corn goes in another bin. For last 10 years, up until last year, I was raising white corn because it had a market premium over yellow. Then the market's flipped, so I moved over and produced less corn, mostly for plot areas, and put in more sorghum because I kind of seen the drought coming. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to push more of that on the farm again. So
this forward-thinking operation truly is a realistic setting for the future of agriculture, which is trending towards smaller operations globally. As the Rogers Memorial Farm operation looks to future partnerships and more robotic innovations hitting their fields, Paul and Stuart are certain that this research facility will continue to lead local and national farming practices well into the future. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Bill Dodd.